In today's video, we're going to talk about the kite. And the kite is a special quadrilateral that has two pairs of congruent adjacent consecutive sides. So let's underline that. So the kite has two pairs of congruent adjacent consecutive sides. And then let's draw a quick picture of what that might look like. So I have my consecutive sides that are going to be congruent. All right. And I'm going to put 2 marks there, showing that those sides are congruent. The kite also has perpendicular diagonals, so we know what happens when our diagonals are perpendicular. And let's give another color there. They form right angles. So the diagonal, the other diagonal, they're perpendicular to each other. A kite has at least one pair of congruent opposite angles, and that's shown there that angle A, okay, is congruent to angle C, and they're opposite of each other. A kite has at least one diagonal forming two congruent triangles, and that's formed by our diagonal here, which was stated. So we have BCD is congruent to BAD, and we should know that BD is reflexive. Put an X there. So you have side, side, side. To say that those two triangles are congruent. Sorry about that. A kite has at least one diagonal that bisects a pair of opposite angles. And again, that's shown here by this line, which we should note is the line of symmetry for the kite. Line of symmetry. Okay, and that bisects the two angles. So that bisects angle B and bisects angle D. A kite has at least one diagonal that bisects the other. So this diagonal BD bisects AC. And we see that we have the two congruent parts. All right. Let's move down to example number 1. It says find the lengths of the sides of kite WXYZ. All right, so the approach I took was that I'm going to find side XY. Okay, so I know that from X to U is 12, and I know from Y to U is 12. So I know those two sides are congruent. I know that these diagonals cut at perpendicular lines, so I know that's a right angle. So I'm going to find this side here. I'm going to call it X. Well, there's a triangle there, so it's a right triangle. So it's also an isosceles right triangle. But either way, I can set up a squared plus b squared equals, well, let's call it x squared. But there's something I should know from conversations in class, that is not just a right triangle, but it's an isosceles right triangle. So I know that the angles, or the triangle, is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So if you can come up with the answer right now, I mean, just put it down. But anyway, working through, I'm going to have 12 squared plus 12 squared equals x squared. Okay, and when I do that calculation, because I'm not going to do it all, I'm going to have that x equals 12 square root of 2. Well, I know that xy, or side xy, equals 12 square root of 2. Okay, so if xy is 12 square root of 2, then I know that the consecutive sides are congruent. So zy also is 12 square root of 2. Okay, now I'm going to find xw. All right, so I'm going to find this side here, xw. Well, again, right angle, right triangle, so I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem. So I'm going to have 12 squared plus 20 squared equals, I'll call it c squared, and then I'm going to have 144 plus 400 equals c squared. I'm going to have 544 equals c squared. And then that's going to give me, I need to simplify that because it's going to be the square root of 544 equals c squared. And I simplify that, I'm going to get 4, or zw, I'm sorry, xw. Erase that. Xw equals 4 square root of 34. So since xw is 4 square root of 34, I know that zw equals 4 square root of 34. All right, now what I want you to do is I want you to write key ideas down from the kite and from the exercise we did. Obviously, I want you to check your understanding. I will check that tomorrow. Some good problems there. And remember, go Cats, go Knights.